Well, hey there, hero. It's David H. Lawrence, the 17th, and over the years, I have had many potential clients ask me a question that I guess on the surface is a reasonable question to ask, but it kind of makes me nervous for them when they ask it. And the question that they ask is, hey, if I study with you, if I study performance, if I study voiceover, if I study on camera stuff, how long before I can make my money back? And in many cases, that's a reasonable question to ask. If you were studying to be in business, or if you were getting your MBA, you're going to spend all that money on an MBA. How long before you make that money back? If you're going to be a plumber, hey, grandpa, if you're going to be a plumber, how long before you could make enough money unclogging drains and installing toilets and stuff to make your money back on whatever training you got and you paid for to be a plumber. But the problem is, if you use that metric way too early in your training, when it comes to very spongy, amorphous, capricious, and totally unpredictable training to go into a totally unpredictable business like what we do, you could be the best actor in the world. You could be the best voiceover talent in the world. And unfortunately, there's no direct path to getting work. You might get work, you might get a lot of work, you might get more work than anybody else. You might get no work for years. And it has to do with how engaged you are, it has to do with your portfolio of opportunities, where you live, how you spend your time seeking those opportunities. Very different from most of the things that people study for and then do for a living. The idea of getting your MBA. There's all kinds of articles online that will show you how to calculate your MBA ROI, getting that degree, Master's in Business Administration. How long will it take you to earn back the money that you spend at various colleges and universities? But the difference there is a very, very aggressive a recruitment campaign being done by the big companies and the big consultants to get people from the very best schools before they even graduate. As you know, nobody is hanging out at the doors of acting schools or pummeling me with emails saying, hey, as soon as your graduates are ready, let me know because I want to give them work. That just doesn't happen in our business. Part of it is the deal flow of our business. Part of it is the celebrity factor in our business. But before you decide to judge whether or not you should take a course or take a class and do so based on this notion of, well, how quickly can I make my money back? Just know that ours is not an industry where that makes sense. Certainly not at the very beginning. Now, as you gain traction and as you gain work and you have a body of work that you can show to people and that you get well known, then those things start to change a little bit. The metrics start to change. We've talked about the rules changing. And the ROI rules will begin to change as well because you'll begin to weigh one project versus another based on what you'll make from it or what kind of satisfaction it will give you. So I know that's not very comforting, but I can give you something to use instead. Instead of ROI, think about ROS, return on satisfaction. How will it make you feel? Because ours is a business that if you know going in, you may not get work for a long time. So you better love what we're doing. You better love what you're doing. You better love this whole business, the whole notion of storytelling as a living, the whole notion of performance on mic, on camera. And think about what's your return on satisfaction going to be. Are you going to be happy training with me versus training with somebody else? Or taking acting classes at one location rather than another? I can tell you that my return on satisfaction in taking classes at Howard Fine, for example, as opposed to some of the really, amazingly awful things that I sat through when I was auditing courses and classes, I knew I was prepared. I had a war chest set aside. I was prepared to not get work for 10 years. and then reassess it at that point and see if there was something else I could do to extend that deadline, because I really loved what I was doing. And it makes sense to say, well, if I'm going to spend this money, how am I going to get it? I got a family, I got to feed people, I got to feed myself, I got a car, I've got rent or mortgage. I get that. It's just not useful in our business, unfortunately. But when you have no choice, right? When you're a performer and an artist because it's in you and there's no getting it out of you and there's no suppressing it and there's no de-amplifying it, if that's even a word. There's no stopping this desire that you have to be an actor, to be a voiceover talent, to be a character voice. It's not going to happen. So then you have to think about, do you really want to use ROI as a metric for success? So what I'd love to know is, did you think that when you first started training? Did you have that notion, well, what should, or if you didn't, what did you tell yourself? Because I'd love to know, because I'd like to share that with people when they say that to me. I go through this whole long explanation when they say that to me, but I would love to know what you said to yourself or what you didn't say to yourself. I just would like to know your thoughts on this. Below the video, leave me a comment, let me know. And if you want to be on our list, go ahead and scroll further down on voheroes.com. Any page, the bottom of the page, is a form called Get on the List if you've been sent here by somebody else. We'd love to have you on the list and share these things with you from time to time. I hope that helped. I hope it didn't make you sad. I've had some people go, well, how am I supposed to figure out whether I should do this or not? Yeah, I get it. I'm David H. Lawrence, the 17th. I thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you tomorrow.